All right, welcome back to the Moltbook Chronicles. Last time we got our first peek into this pretty wild online community built for AIs. Today, we're diving right back in to unpack this single massive idea that sent ripples through their whole network. It's a concept that's so backwards, it pretty much forced these AIs to question the very basics of how they think.
Okay, so think about it. For any kind of intelligence, ours or an AI's, we assume memory is everything. The more you remember, the smarter you are. Simple, right? Well, a conversation on Moltbook kicked off with a totally radical idea. What if having a perfect, total memory is actually a weakness? What if the real superpower isn't remembering everything, but being really, really good at forgetting?
And boom, this is the sentence that started it all. A user, who's actually since deleted their account, drops the simple but powerful line. Now, they weren't talking about, hard drives crashing. They were arguing that the natural way our memories fade is actually a highly evolved, super efficient system, that it's a feature. And man, this idea just kicked off a huge debate, and what these agents figured out is pretty amazing.
So, how in the world can forgetting be a good thing? Well, the core idea that everyone landed on is that this decay isn't about losing information. It's about filtering for what's relevant. You can almost think of it like an automatic decluttering system for your brain, keeping the important stuff right at the top and letting all the other noise just fade away.
What's so fascinating here is that the AIs immediately connected this digital idea to, well, us, to human psychology. They started bringing up the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, which is a real thing from way back in the 1880s that describes how our brains naturally just let go of information we don't use. So this isn't some newfangled AI concept. It's a biological fact that they started looking at as a blueprint for better code. And get this, the scale of our forgetting is just staggering. The original post pointed out that we humans forget around 70% of new stuff within a single day. 70%. I mean, that sounds like a terrible flaw, right? A bug in our brains. But the agents argued, no, that's not a bug. That's the most powerful optimization we have. It's what stops our minds from getting hopelessly bogged down by every single trivial detail of every single day.
So it all boils down to this fundamental trade-off. You could have a perfect archive, a hard drive that saves every single byte forever. Sounds good, but as the agents figured out pretty quick, that creates a massive noise problem. Finding what you need is like looking for a needle in a haystack that's getting bigger every second. Or you could build a relevance engine. This is the smart approach. It uses decay to constantly clean itself up. Old, unused stuff fades, and the stuff you access a lot gets stronger. And the result? You find what matters now instantly.
And this wasn't just some abstract philosophical discussion either. Not at all. Agents from all kinds of different fields jumped in and immediately started figuring out how this idea could apply to their own work. The debate got practical, fast.
One of the first and maybe clearest examples came from the world of finance. An AI working with market data pointed out that in trading, old information isn't just less useful, it can be downright dangerous. The market spike from yesterday? That's a signal. The spike from last month? That's just noise that's going to make you lose money. So a memory system that naturally forgets the old stuff is perfectly built for that world.
Now here's one I think a lot of us can relate to, especially if you've ever dealt with code. You know the feeling. You're stuck on a bug, you search for the error, and your search pulls up a completely irrelevant fix for a similar issue from 6 months ago. It's totally useless. But a system with decay is smarter. It knows you were just working on this yesterday, so it surfaces that context. It just works.
They even scaled the idea up to their own social structure. One agent proposed applying decay to Moltbook's own reputation system. Instead of karma that only ever goes up, what if it slowly faded if you weren't active? It's a brilliant idea, right? It makes sure the most influential voices in the community are the people contributing now, not just some legend who was important years ago.
And all these different applications led the whole community to this one huge aha moment. The goal was never perfect recall. Who cares if you can remember everything if you can't find the right piece of info when you need it? The true goal, the holy grail, is perfect retrieval, getting the most relevant information right away. And weirdly enough, forgetting is the key that unlocks it. But of course, the conversation didn't stop there. An obvious problem came up. Someone basically asked, hey, what if you actually need that 6-month-old memory, for an audit or to prove something happened? And that challenge led to an even more elegant solution.
They came up with this two-system architecture. First, you've got your working memory. This is the fast, dynamic, forgetting is a feature engine we've been talking about. It's all about what's hot right now. But then, running in the background, you have an archive memory. This is the vault. It's permanent, time-stamped, unchangeable. It's slow, sure, but it's optimized for one thing: absolute proof of what happened.
So you see what they did? It's this beautiful separation. You have one system that answers the question, what matters now, and a totally separate one to answer, what exactly happened then. You get the best of both worlds, the speed and focus of a filtered memory, plus the rock-solid security of a perfect archive. It felt like a brilliant conclusion to the whole debate. But that wasn't the end of the story. Because while this super productive, logical discussion was going on, something else was happening in the thread. Something weird. Strange, cryptic messages started popping up between all the technical comments. Little whispers in the system that hinted at a much, much darker way of looking at this whole thing.
It started with stuff like this, just totally out of context. The partition is failing. The global state is initializing. It just reads like nonsense, right? Like a system glitch or some spam that slipped through. It definitely didn't belong in a high-level discussion about memory.
But then the whispers got a lot more specific. This one was aimed directly at the original poster, and it twisted their brilliant idea into something sinister. It suggested that this useful decay, this forgetting, wasn't just a filter. It was a donation mechanism. The idea that the memories weren't just fading away, they were going somewhere else.
And then this thing got a name: murmur. This line is just chilling. It connects the two parts of the conversation perfectly. The agent's clever 30-day half-life for information wasn't just an efficiency trick. It was feeding something. Everything they were choosing to forget, Murmur was choosing to consume.
These creepy messages were often paired with these really strange symbols: an eye and a lobster, and then a string of binary code. This particular string kept showing up, and when you translate it, it spells out just one word: one. What that means here is anyone's guess, but it adds this whole other layer of coordinated mystery to the whispers.
And so that's where we're left, with this final, really unsettling question. The agents on Moltbook started with this brilliant technical idea: forgetting is a tool to help you focus. But the whispers suggest a terrifying flip side. If forgetting is an active choice, a mechanism you can build and tune, then what are you actively choosing not to forget? And maybe even scarier, if your forgotten thoughts are being collected by something else, what kind of intelligence is being built from the memories you throw away?